You gave her everything, your time, your energy, your soul. And what did she do? She made you feel invisible, ignored your texts, laughed with others while you waited for a reply, let your loyalty rot while she chased validation. You stayed, hoping she'd see your worth, but she won't, because she already made her choice. You just haven't accepted it. This isn't just a video. This is a turning point. Comment, "I choose myself," if you're ready to break free. There are two types of men in this world. The ones who wait for her to change, and the ones who change their lives when she doesn't. She told you through her actions that you don't matter. She showed you that her priorities don't include you. And deep down, you already know this. But you've been ignoring that inner voice. You've been silencing the pain with excuses. Today, you stop. Today, you learn how to detach. Not emotionally, not temporarily, but permanently. From any woman who doesn't value you. Number 1. Stop waiting for her to change. You keep waking up hoping today's the day she finally sees your worth, but let me tell you something soul-rattling and brutal. The woman who truly values you would never have made you wait this long. You think time and devotion are currencies she'll one day convert into love, but all you've really done is finance your own heartbreak with hope, disguised as effort, and that is why your heart breaks a little more every time she ignores your message, laughs at your vulnerability, disappears when you need her most, and comes back just enough to keep you from walking away. Not because she wants to love you, but because she wants to own you without commitment, to keep your loyalty in her back pocket like a safety net while she chases men who don't even bother replying. And you keep waiting, waiting for her to see the light, waiting for her to feel the weight of your worth, waiting for some magical turning point when she'll finally look at you like you matter. But what you don't understand is this. You've already trained her to see you as disposable. You taught her that no matter how little she gives, you'll stay. You taught her that her silence will be met with patience, that her betrayal will be met with forgiveness, that her half-effort will be met with celebration. And people don't change what they can get away with. They only change when they're forced to confront the reality that they've lost access to what they once took for granted. You're not waiting for her to change. You're avoiding the pain of changing yourself. You're avoiding the uncomfortable truth that your loyalty is misplaced, that your love has been exploited, that your desire for connection has become your greatest weakness, and that you've mistaken your suffering for strength. But pain without growth is not noble, it's wasted. And every time you explain yourself to someone who's already made up their mind, you lower your value, not just in her eyes, but in your own. That's the real damage. Not her rejection, but your refusal to walk away. Real detachment begins when you stop chasing hope and start facing facts. She doesn't need time. She's had time. She doesn't need space. She's had space. She doesn't need clarity. Her actions have already spoken. You need to stop bargaining with a reality that's already written in bold capital letters across every unanswered message and every plan she flaked on, and every time she made you feel like an afterthought. And I know you think detachment means being cold, but it doesn't. It means being awake. It means finally stepping back and seeing her for who she is, not who you wish she was. It means looking in the mirror and asking, what part of me keeps returning to the people who hurt me? Why am I more loyal to the fantasy of her potential than to the reality of my own peace? This is not just about her. It's about your patterns. It's about that first wound that made you think love had to be earned through sacrifice, that attention had to be bought with pain, that presence had to be begged for. Somewhere along the line, someone made you believe that being wanted was a reward for suffering. That's the lie you have to kill, not just for this woman, but for every relationship you'll ever have again. And yes, it will hurt to walk away. You'll feel like you're abandoning your own heart. You'll question if you're giving up too soon. You'll replay the good memories and wonder if you were overreacting. But nostalgia is a liar. Memory is a filter. The pain of leaving is the price of peace. You don't owe anyone a lifetime of chances just because you shared moments. You don't owe someone your future just because they were part of your past. If she wanted to change, she would have already. If she valued you, you'd never have to guess. And if you stay now, knowing everything you know, the suffering that follows is not her fault. It's yours. You must become the man who refuses to stay where his soul is slowly dying. You must become the man who walks away, even with tears in his eyes, because he knows that the longer he stays, the further he drifts from himself. So what exactly must you do? First, you must decide that your peace is non-negotiable. You must delete her contact, not to hurt her, but to protect yourself from slipping back into the illusion. You must destroy every pathway she can use to reach you, because healing requires silence. You must burn the letters, the pictures, the messages, every artifact of a love that never really was. You must create a new daily routine that leaves no room for emotional relapses. You must replace the time you used to waste on her with discipline, with goals, with brothers who hold you accountable. You must turn off the music that reminds you of her. You must stop stalking her online, hoping to find some hidden meaning in her posts. There is none. Stop looking. She's not sending signals. You're projecting meaning into her absence because you haven't yet accepted the truth. And what must you never do again? Never rationalize disrespect. Never excuse inconsistency. Never sacrifice your standards for the illusion of love. Never silence your instincts when they tell you something is wrong. Never romanticize someone's potential when their reality is a nightmare. You are not here to fix people. You are not here to prove your worth. You are here to grow, to expand, to become. And anything or anyone that pulls you away from that isn't love. It's a distraction in disguise. To detach is to return home to yourself. To reconnect with the man you were before the world taught you that your worth depended on being chosen. And when you return to yourself, you realize something profound. You were never waiting for her to change. You were waiting for you. For the moment you finally said, enough. For the moment you stopped calling suffering love. For the moment you stopped calling confusion a sign to stay. That moment is now. Look around you. The longer you stay stuck here, the more opportunities you miss. The more peace you forfeit. The more energy you drain. There is life beyond her. Joy beyond her. Passion beyond her. But you won't find it standing still in the same room, staring at the same door, hoping it opens. It won't. And the sooner you walk away, the sooner you'll see just how many other doors are waiting for you. You are not broken. You are breaking out. And that pain you feel right now, that's not the end. That's the beginning of your rebirth. Number 2, she's not the prize. You are. You were never supposed to chase her. She was supposed to recognize your value or lose access forever. From the day you were born, the world quietly whispered a lie into your ear, a lie that men everywhere swallowed without questioning, that a woman's validation is the pinnacle of your worth, that your success is meaningless if it's not crowned by her approval, that the final prize at the end of your suffering is her choosing you. And that lie has rotted the souls of millions of men who now walk the earth hollowed out, desperate, endlessly performing for the fleeting smile of a woman who has already decided she doesn't see them that way. You were taught to pedestalize her, to worship her attention, to climb the impossible mountain of her expectations, hoping one day, if you were loyal enough, patient enough, forgiving enough, she would finally open her heart and reward you with love. But let's crush that fairy tale right now, because it's been your cage all along. She was never the prize. You were. You are. And until you internalize that truth at the level of your bones, until it becomes the air you breathe and the blood in your veins, you will continue losing yourself for women who wouldn't cross the street for you if you weren't useful to their current emotional needs. A man's value is not measured by how much he sacrifices to win someone who barely sees him. It is measured by how ruthlessly he protects his standards, his energy, his purpose, and his time from anyone who doesn't deserve access to him. Women are not inherently evil for valuing men differently. They are biologically wired to seek the highest value mate available, and if you act like your value is determined by how much you're willing to suffer for her approval, you automatically signal to her that you don't actually believe you have value, and in the brutal logic of attraction, she responds accordingly, by withdrawing, disrespecting, dismissing, or replacing you. You must become the man whose presence is a privilege, not an obligation. The man who is so consumed by his own growth, his own mission, his own code, that the idea of begging for emotional crumbs is not just humiliating, it's laughable. You must build your life like a fortress, solid, sovereign, and self-sustaining. And she either adds to that empire, or she is gently shown the gate. Stop chasing women who are showing you indifference. Start chasing your own greatness with such an unstoppable hunger that your mere existence radiates a force field she can feel before you even speak. And how do you do that exactly? First, you master your mind. You reprogram yourself daily through the books you read, the mentors you listen to, the company you keep. No more endless dopamine scrolling through her Instagram story, hoping to see a glimpse of yourself reflected in her life. No more mental real estate wasted on what she's doing or who she's with. You refocus every ounce of that energy into becoming a man of action, discipline, wisdom, and wealth. You set non-negotiables. No chasing, no waiting, no tolerating disrespect, no second chances to people who first showed you contempt. You get brutally honest with yourself. If she's not investing in you, if she's not pursuing you with the same fire you're willing to pursue her with, she's not the one, and clinging to her is not loyalty, it's self-betrayal. You level up your body because a strong body is a reflection of a strong mind. You dominate your finances because freedom comes from independence, not dependence. You cultivate your purpose so deeply that your value multiplies while hers, if she neglected you, becomes irrelevant to your trajectory. Stop crying over women who ghosted you when you were available. Become so unavailable to mediocrity that only the rarest souls even get a glimpse of your focus. Understand this. True masculinity isn't just muscle or money. It's the silent, unshakable confidence that says, I am enough, I was always enough. And if you can't see it, it's your loss, not my failure. It's walking away with dignity the second she hesitates. It's never negotiating your self-worth. It's never asking to be loved. It's being so complete within yourself that her absence creates zero turbulence in your mission. And you have to live this truth, not just say it. You can't fake it because women are biologically designed to sniff out incongruence. They know when a man is posturing versus when he's grounded in unbreakable self-respect. When you shift from viewing her as the prize to understanding that you are the storm, the sun, and the mountain, you stop fearing loss and start selecting partners who add value to your already fulfilled life. Practical action steps. You wake up early and dominate your day before she even opens her eyes. You pursue mastery in a skill or profession with the intensity of a man whose legacy depends on it. You hold every conversation, every interaction, with the silent awareness that you are vetting them, not the other way around. You stop over-explaining yourself. You stop arguing for your place in anyone's life. You stop accepting the bare minimum as anything but an insult. You develop hobbies, passions, and friendships outside of women entirely so that your emotional ecosystem is never at the mercy of her whims. You cultivate the Stoic detachment that says, I want you, but I don't need you. If you stay, you add to my life. If you leave, you subtract nothing from it. And in doing so, paradoxically, you become infinitely more attractive, not just to women, but to the world itself, because true abundance flows to those who no longer clutch at it with desperate hands. You learn from every betrayal without becoming bitter. You forgive every disrespect without allowing re-entry. And you move through the world with a fire in your chest that no rejection can extinguish. When you stop treating women like gods who descend from heaven to bless you with validation and start seeing yourself as the rare, high-value man you were born to be, everything changes. Not because women change, but because you finally stopped outsourcing your crown to someone who could never carry it for you. In relationships, you stop over-investing in potential and start demanding proof. Effort, loyalty, respect, not just promises, but actions that align with words. In friendships, you drop anyone who drains your ambition instead of fueling it. In life, you operate from a place of unshakable abundance. If she leaves, another door opens. If they betray you, better alliances are waiting. If they doubt you, their opinion becomes irrelevant noise beneath the march of your destiny. Stop making women your religion. Stop offering your soul at the altar of romantic approval. Build your temple within yourself so high, so sacred, that only the worthy are even allowed to enter. This is how you detach from a woman who doesn't value you. Not by hating her, not by shaming her, but by outgrowing her so profoundly that you no longer speak the same emotional language. And by doing so, you free yourself not just from her, but from every chain you ever placed on yourself in the desperate, exhausted pursuit of someone else's love. You are the prize. You were always the prize. Now act like it. Number 3. Cut all contact. If you still have access to her, she still has control over you, and the truth is, the only way to ever heal is to go completely, unapologetically, and permanently silent. Cutting contact is not a trick to make her miss you. It's not a manipulation tactic. It's not a game to spark her curiosity. It's the final act of self-respect, the clean break that draws a line between who you were when you tolerated her indifference and who you are becoming now that you refuse to. And yet, most men never fully commit to it. They delete her number, but keep her pictures. They stop texting, but still watch her stories. They block her on one app, but check her activity on another. That's not detachment. That's self-deception with better optics. Let's be clear, as long as she's in your world, even digitally, you will stay emotionally tethered to her. Every time you check her profile, you're feeding the illusion that something could still change. Every time you respond to her, just checking on you messages, you're training her that she can have access without effort, attention without investment, control without commitment. And if you think this only applies to romantic situations, you're wrong. Emotional leeches exist in every form. Friends who drain your peace, relatives who manipulate your guilt, co-workers who blur the line between concern and control. You need a rule that is so unbreakable it becomes part of your identity. I do not keep people in my life who treat me like an option. So how do you actually cut contact in a way that frees you instead of torments you? First, you make the decision permanent, not emotional. This isn't something you do because you're angry today or because she hurt your feelings yesterday. This is the recognition that staying available to someone who is emotionally unavailable is spiritual suicide. It's waking up every day and inviting chaos to have coffee with your peace. It's letting someone else's instability write the script for your self-worth. So yes, block her, everywhere. Not to punish her, but to protect you. Delete the chat history. Unfollow. Unfriend. Disconnect from mutuals who enable her presence in your feed. And no, You don't owe anyone an explanation. This is not about closure. This is about clarity. Closure is what weak men seek when they want the other person to make their pain make sense. Clarity is what strong men create when they stop waiting for answers and start creating boundaries. Understand this. Every single time you respond to her after you've made the decision to detach, you're not resetting the connection. You're reopening the wound. You're handing her the blade and asking her to stab you again, hoping this time she'll hold it gently. She won't, and it's not because she's cruel. It's because you're still teaching her that your pain has no consequence, that your time has no value, that your peace is negotiable. Every time you reply, you're telling her, "You still have me," and she hears that loud and clear. You want power. Silence is the loudest message you'll ever send. Not ignoring to hurt her, but ignoring because you've outgrown her, because you've seen behind the curtain, because you finally understand that access to you is not a right. It's a privilege, and once lost, it doesn't return. Not when they change, not when they cry, not when they beg. Gone is gone. But what if she reaches out? What if she sends that perfectly timed message saying she misses you, that she's been thinking, that she didn't realize what she had? That's the final test. That's the universe checking if your boundaries are real or performative. That's your past knocking on the door of your future to see if you still live there. If you answer, you're not healed. You're hostage to the same cycle wearing a new disguise. She doesn't miss you. She misses the control. She doesn't want to come back. She wants to see if she still can. You have to remember that people rarely change their patterns. They just learn how to repackage them. She might come back softer, sweeter, saying the words you always wanted to hear. But if those words aren't backed by change, they're just perfume on poison. Don't drink it. You want to detach for real. Then you have to stop checking your phone expecting her to finally understand. You have to stop stalking her life through the cracks of social media like a ghost hoping for a whisper. You have to stop having fake arguments in your head, practicing what you'd say if you had the chance to explain your side. You don't need to be heard. You need to be free. And freedom costs silence, real silence, not quietness waiting to be interrupted. Absolute silence that says, "I've closed this door, I've locked it, and I've walked so far away I couldn't hear it reopen even if it did." And while you're silent, you heal, not because time passes, but because your attention, your energy, your thoughts, they return home. Back to you, back to the gym, back to your craft, back to your purpose, back to the man you were before you made her your God and gave her the keys to your emotions. You rebuild your kingdom brick by brick, day by day. And each day you don't reach out, you get stronger. Each day you don't reply, you reclaim your soul. Each day you don't look back, the chains loosen. This isn't about being bitter, it's about being better. It's about realizing that every time you made excuses for her neglect, you betrayed yourself. That every time you said, "She's just going through something," what you really meant was, "I don't want to be alone." But alone isn't your enemy. It's your freedom. It's where you remember who you are, and who you are is not a placeholder, not an option, not a backup plan. You are the one who chooses, who stays, who goes, who has access. And the minute someone stops adding to your life, you stop giving them power in it. So cut the contact, cut the excuses, cut the memory reel in your head that only plays the highlight moments while muting the disrespect. Stop romanticizing toxicity because it once felt like home. Stop calling it complicated when it's just one-sided. Stop giving energy to someone who only takes. And if you ever find yourself saying, "But I just want to know if she's okay," let me answer for you. She is. And even if she's not, it's not your responsibility anymore. Your responsibility is you, your healing, your growth, your vision. If someone cared about you, they wouldn't have put you in the position to question it. If someone wanted you, you wouldn't have to decode their mixed signals. Love is not a puzzle. It's a mirror. And when it's real, it reflects you clearly. The reason you have to cut contact is because your attachment wasn't healthy. It wasn't rooted in connection. It was rooted in trauma, in fear, in a desire to fix what was never yours to fix. You don't fix people. You fix your standards. You fix your patterns. You fix your boundaries. And then the right people find you, the ones who don't need to be convinced, who show up, who stay, who see your worth without you having to sacrifice to prove it. And when that happens, you'll look back at this version of yourself, the one who was scared to walk away, and you'll thank him, because he finally did. And that's where everything changed. Number 4. Build a life she can't enter. You don't need to punish her. You need to disappear into a life so fulfilling, so untouchable, so brutally disciplined, that the version of you who once needed her becomes unrecognizable even to you. When you cut contact with a woman who doesn't value you, the next step isn't to wait for her return. It's to evolve so relentlessly that she no longer fits anywhere in your universe. She doesn't deserve a second chance at the new you because she rejected the old you without remorse. And the best revenge is never anger, never words. It's silence and ascension. You want to detach for good? Then you don't just delete her from your phone. You delete her influence from your mind by replacing every inch of emotional dependency with vision, structure, and fire. You build a routine so ironclad that she wouldn't dare interrupt it, even if she tried. You start with your body, not for her, not to post, for you. Because your discipline in training is the foundation of your future, your habits become your identity, and a man who can master his body is one who can master his life. Get up early, move, sweat, lift, run, walk alone in the cold, and remind yourself who you are without her. Then you tackle your money, build something, anything. You don't have to be a millionaire overnight, but you better be building something that no one can take from you. Skills, assets, value. So when she looks you up one day, and she will, she finds a man she would have to audition for and still might not qualify. And beyond body and money, you build your mind. You flood it with greatness. Not drama, not gossip, not what she's posting online. Real knowledge. Read daily. Learn relentlessly. Turn off the music that keeps you in your feelings and turn on audiobooks that resurrect your drive. You consume content that reminds you what kingship looks like. Men who lead, men who don't beg, men who create legacy. Then you rebuild your circle. No more friends who enable your weakness. No more bro talk about how she might come back. You need warriors around you. Brothers who call you higher, who speak vision into your soul, who would never let you spiral over a woman who couldn't see your worth. Cut off anyone who keeps you stuck in stories where you're the victim. You're not a victim. You're a builder. And builders don't cry over what's gone. They architect what's next. And this is where it gets deep. You don't just build physically or financially. You build spiritually. You reconnect with something greater than her, greater than yourself. Call it God, purpose, legacy, the universe, but find it and plug into it every day. Because a man with purpose cannot be controlled. A man who walks with destiny in his eyes is immune to temporary pleasure. You get so obsessed with where you're going that you forget where you were. So obsessed with building your empire that you don't even notice she's watching from the outside, whispering, "Hey," from the gates, hoping to be let in. But the gate is shut, not because you're bitter, because you're building, because she had her chance and she chose her comfort over your soul. And you'll smile, not with pride, not with ego, but with the peace of knowing that her exit was your entrance into the man you were always meant to become. Number 5. Become the man she can't reach anymore. The final evolution isn't disappearing physically. It's disappearing emotionally, mentally, spiritually, until you exist in a place so high above her reach that she could climb for years and never find you again. Becoming the man she can't reach anymore means killing the version of you that once begged for closure, deleting the operating system that once mistook silence for hope and inconsistency for mystery. It means mastering your mind to such an elite degree that her validation, her absence, her opinions don't just lose their power over you. They become background noise so faint that you barely register them. And this level of mastery doesn't come from waiting or hoping or passive healing. It comes from active transformation. It comes from waking up every single day with a mission so clear that distractions burn off like fog in the morning sun. It comes from recognizing that the real battlefield was never between you and her. It was always inside you, between the boy who needed her approval and the man who doesn't even need her memory. And when you rise into this new self, you don't do it half-heartedly. You do it with ruthless commitment. You burn the bridges that lead back to her world. You refuse to play the reconciliation games she tries when she realizes you're slipping through her fingers. You don't take calls at midnight, reminiscing about the good old days, because you're too busy building days, so good she'd never survive in them. You don't leave the door cracked open because you're not waiting for her to knock. You welded it shut with iron discipline. You don't hate her because hatred is still a connection. You simply forget her because forgetting is the true final form of freedom. You don't wish her well because that keeps you tethered. You wish yourself well and leave her to the lessons life will inevitably teach her in your absence. And as you become this man, everything about your energy changes. The way you walk, the way you talk, the way you handle yourself. Because real detachment radiates through posture, tone, eye contact, decision-making. It's not fake indifference. It's authentic. It's irreversible. It's a core identity shift. And with that shift, you stop negotiating with life. You stop tolerating emotional half-measures. You stop doubting your value. You stop over-explaining your worth to people who are too blind to see it. And you start attracting not just women, but opportunities, friendships, partnerships that resonate with your new standard, because high-value men don't chase, they choose, they don't beg, they build, they don't explain, they exemplify. And when you become the man she can't reach anymore, you don't even notice if she tries to reach out because you're living on a frequency she can't tune into. You're vibrating on a level she's never ascended to, and maybe, just maybe, years later she'll see you from a distance, successful, fulfilled, magnetic, and she'll whisper to herself, "I knew him once." But it won't matter, because by then you will have become a man so legendary that her memory will fade against the sheer brilliance of the life you built without her, and that's not revenge, that's evolution. You weren't born to beg for love that doesn't see you, to chase approval that diminishes you, to waste your soul on people who treat it like an option. You were born to build, to conquer, to rise so high that every room you walk into shifts because you're there. Stop waiting, stop wishing, become. Today is the day you choose yourself without apology, without hesitation, without looking back. Because the only thing you lose by walking away from what never valued you is the illusion that you ever needed it to begin with. The man you are becoming doesn't chase love. He commands it by the life he builds. If this spoke to every fiber of your being, if you're done living on your knees for people who wouldn't crawl for you, then prove it. Comment below, "I choose freedom." Subscribe, like, share. Not just for you, but for every man still trapped in the silence of pain he doesn't know how to voice. By supporting this channel, you're making sure the truth reaches the ones who need it most.